Happy birthday, Smokey.
Smokey's great.
We're so excited for Smokey Bear's 80th birthday. That's right, our friend has been helping us learn about wildfire prevention since 1944. To celebrate, we'd like to welcome you to Smokey Bear Live 4. In this 4-part video series, we're investigating real wildfire case studies. In episode 1, we explored how campfires can spark wildfires. Click on the video on screen to watch that episode as well, or check out all of our videos on the Natural Inquirer YouTube channel. Today we have 2 experts from the USDA Forest Service here to help us learn how vehicles can spark wildfires. Daniel Michael and Mark Thibodeau. We're so excited to share their expertise with you. And they're joined today with our hosts, Genesis Robinson and Robert Westover.
Hi everyone, I'm Genesis Robinson.
And I'm Robert Westover, a public affairs specialist with the USDA Forest Service.
What's with the folder, Robert?
Well, these are just what I call the S files.
The S files?
Smokey Bear files. The truth is out there, Agent Genesis.
Fair enough, because we did want to talk about a hard truth today about wildfires. Wildfires that are unplanned and unwanted are considered natural hazards that cause a lot of damage each year. But the good news is that we can do many things to prevent that.
True. 9 out of every 10 wildfires are caused by people like us, what I like to call stupid fires. So we can all do our part to prevent them from happening.
Exactly. Like our vehicles, for example. It sounds crazy, but sparks from vehicles can catch wildlands on fire.
Vehicles are a huge cause of fires, and the vehicle-caused fires in the areas that I've worked tend to get bigger faster than some of our escape campfires.
Escape campfires occur when we don't put out campfires well enough and they become wildfires. To learn more about putting out your campfire properly, be sure to check out episode 1 of our series. When vehicles cause wildfires, however, they can cause some unique challenges.
When vehicle fires start, a lot of times they start at the bottom of the slopes. They're burning upslope, and fires burn faster upslope.
The most common reason that vehicles start wildfires is by dragging chains on trailers. A lot of times when drivers are pulling trailers, they'll have extra safety chains that connect the tongue of the trailer to the back of the vehicle. This helps catch the trailer if it comes off the hitch.
Think if you're going to bring along a motorcycle or an ATV or anything that requires a trailer, you could be dragging chains accidentally and cause a wildfire.
The problem is that when the chains drag on the ground, they can create sparks if they hit the pavement or rocks.
And these sparks can land on brush and start a wildfire.
If you are traveling with your parents or you have a car of your own and you notice that there's a piece of metal hanging, please let your family know that we could prevent a wildfire by just maintaining our vehicle and getting that metal up off the road.
You can also have a failure of a tire, and then the metal wheel hitting the pavement can also cause sparks and start a fire.
We've actually had wildfires caused by people driving on the rim and sparking wildfires in the grass next to the road, causing large destructive wildfires.
Be sure your parents or guardians check their tire pressure often so they don't end up driving on an exposed rim.
And the other thing that can spark a wildfire are brake pads, so your parents or guardians should make sure they don't wear too thin.
Especially larger vehicles, if they're going down a steep hill, they rely on the brakes overheat, catch fire, and then that fire can spread. So keep your vehicle well maintained, check your brakes, make sure they're in good condition.
But sparks aren't the only way your vehicle can cause a fire. Remember, most vehicles run on flammable liquids or fluids that can easily catch fire.
A hose carrying fuel could burst and put gasoline on a hot engine and start a fire. So we do have a lot of fires that start in the engine compartment of the vehicle.
And fuel isn't the only thing in a vehicle that's flammable. If the exhaust system gets really dirty, it can also leave behind deposits of very hot and flammable carbon.
We can have a portion of the exhaust system fail and put something hot out into the ground.
Also, parents and guardians should be careful driving through or parking on dry grass or brush. Hot exhaust pipes can catch the grass on fire.
Just pulling off the side of the road onto dry grass, the temperature of your muffler could actually cause a wildfire in the right conditions.
Catching grass on fire is actually why Smokey Bear changed his famous slogan.
That's right. He used to say only you can prevent forest fires, but since fires impact all of our lands, he now says only you can prevent wildfires.
Exactly. Wildfires can also damage grasslands.
Like the Anderson Creek Fire, for example. In 2016, the Anderson Creek Fire destroyed over 400,000 acres in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas.
The wildfire was sparked by a vehicle in Woods County, Oklahoma. And after burning for 9 days, it destroyed 16 homes, a cell tower hut, 2 bridges, and 25 other structures. It cost about $1.5 million to put out.
Thankfully, the fire didn't take any human lives, but it did cause a lot of animal fatalities, including coyotes, deer, porcupines, possums, and skunks. But the biggest casualties were the hundreds of cattle that were lost.
Even when human lives aren't lost, they can still be impacted by evacuation orders.
I've now been under a mandatory evacuation once and then an evacuation warning another time for a fire. And I've actually had embers and chunks of burned materials falling out of the sky at my house. Those fires were so close. So, personally, I've lived it.
So if you like to avoid causing an evacuation, as well as the damage that was done in the Anderson Creek Fire, be sure to check your vehicle regularly.
But how do you do that? Smokey Bear is going to help us out by showing us a full vehicle inspection for fire hazards. Ready, Smokey? Great.
Step 1, always cross your chains. If you're pulling a trailer that has chains on it, make sure you cross them over one another. This will make an X just under your hitch. That will help keep them in the air, but if they're still touching the ground, you may have to shorten them. Remember, if they're dragging, they can cause sparks.
Step 2. Once a month, look under your vehicle and trailer for anything that's hanging. Be sure to check under all 4 sides: the front, the back, the left, and the right sides. Nothing should be hanging off the undercarriage and touching the ground. If it does, let an adult know, because if it's metal, it could cause sparks.
Step 3. While you're looking under your vehicle, check out the ground. Make sure the vehicle isn't leaking any fluids. Tell an adult if you see anything dripping or if you see a puddle forming. Many of these fluids are flammable and could start a fire. If you do see something though, don't panic. It could just be water, especially if it's just rained or someone recently used the vehicle's air conditioning.
Step 4. While you're checking for fluids under the car, you might as well check the fluids in your engine. Pop your hood and take a look at all of the fluid levels: the oil, transmission fluid, brake fluid, and coolant, also called antifreeze or radiator fluid. Everything should be filled to the recommended levels and nothing should be leaking.
Step 5. Once a week, have an adult check the tire pressure of your vehicle and trailer. Make sure the air is filled to the recommended level in the vehicle's driver's manual. If a tire is too low, that can mean that it's losing air and eventually you'll be driving on just the wheel rim. That's metal, so it could cause sparks. So if it's low, fill it with air. If the tire loses air repeatedly, you may need to get it patched or replaced.
Step 6. Have your brake pads checked regularly. If they wear thin, they can cause sparks. Most dealers recommend changing them every 30,000 miles.
Step 7. Keep up with regular oil changes. Your driver's manual will tell you how often you should change your oil in your oil filter. If you keep your oil clean, your engine is less likely to gunk up and drop hot carbon deposits out of your exhaust, which can cause a fire.
Thanks, Smokey. Following these steps will help keep your vehicle running better. It will keep you safer, and it will help prevent wildfires.
And if you're really interested in preventing wildfires, you might want to think about becoming a fire scientist.
Besides just sounding cool, fire scientists study environmental conditions, fire behavior, and the effects of fire.
They also predict the potential for wildfires and offer options before, during, and after wildfires and prescribed burns.
So that may be a great career for you someday. But in the meantime, you can learn how to avoid starting wildfires by checking out our upcoming episodes.
In 1 week, we'll discover how fireworks can spark wildfires. And in 2 weeks, join us for a live question and answer program where our experts will answer your questions live. Leave a question in the comments section of this video and we'll try to answer it during the stream. If you think of a question later, you can also write it in the comments section of the stream while we're live. All of our videos and streams will be available on the Natural Inquirer YouTube channel. Smokey Bear Live is brought to you by a partnership with the Natural Inquirer and the USDA Forest Service. The Forest Service manages about 193 million acres of national forest and grasslands throughout the United States. They also work in partnership with tribal and state governments and private landowners to benefit another 600 million acres, not to mention their work internationally. Phew. Meanwhile, the Natural Inquirer is a program that takes scientific research papers and rewrites them in easy-to-understand language for students at many different grade levels. All of their materials are free to order or download on their website. In fact, they even have a publication called Wildland Fire 2. For example, one of the articles explores the history of the wildfires in 1910. And this is just one of their publications about wildfires.
So after you finish this video, you might as well keep exploring these other amazing resources.
In the meantime, happy birthday, Smokey Bear. And remember,
Only you can prevent wildfires.